Julian Thompson clutched the steering wheel tighter as he pulled into the parking lot of St. Mary's Clinic in downtown Chicago, his heart pounding not just from the mysterious chest pains that had plagued him for weeks, but from the gnawing fear that this visit might uncover something far worse. At 28, he was supposed to be in his prime, building his career as a graphic designer, not worrying about health scares that echoed his late father's heart issues. But when Dr. Ethan Harper stepped into the exam room, his warm hazel eyes locking onto Julian's with an intensity that felt both professional and inexplicably personal, Julian forgot to breathe for a moment. "Mr. Thompson, I'm Dr. Harper. Let's get to the bottom of this," Ethan said, his voice steady and reassuring as he reviewed the chart. Ethan, at 32, had built a reputation as one of the city's top cardiologists, known for his empathy as much as his expertise. Yet, beneath the white coat, he carried his own burdens, a recent divorce from a marriage that had been more about societal expectations than love, and a quiet acceptance of his sexuality that he'd kept hidden in conservative medical circles. As Ethan instructed Julian to remove his shirt for the examination, the room felt smaller. "Breathe deep for me," Ethan said, placing the stethoscope against Julian's chest. The cold metal sent a shiver through Julian, but it was Ethan's hand, steady and warm, that lingered just a second longer than necessary, adjusting the position. Julian's eyes widened slightly, a flush creeping up his neck. Was it his imagination, or had the doctor's touch carried a hint of something more? He pushed the thought away, focusing on the questions about his symptoms, the sharp pains during stress, the fatigue after long days at the office. Ethan listened intently, jotting notes, but his mind wandered to the vulnerability in Julian's blue eyes. It had been years since he'd felt this pull toward anyone, especially a patient. Professional boundaries were sacrosanct, drilled into him through medical school and ethics boards. Yet, here was Julian openly discussing his life single out to his friends but not his traditional Midwestern family, struggling with the isolation of city life. Ethan nodded, sharing a brief anecdote about his own stressful residency days to put Julian at ease. The EKG came back normal, but Ethan recommended a stress test and follow-up. As Julian dressed, their conversation shifted to lighter topics: Chicago's brutal winters, favorite coffee spots. Ethan mentioned a local art exhibit, knowing from the chart that Julian was a designer. "You should check it out. It might inspire you," he said casually. Julian smiled, feeling seen for the first time in months. Leaving the clinic, he replayed the encounter, the doctor's words echoing, "Take care of yourself, Julian. Call if anything changes." Back at his apartment in Wrigleyville, Julian couldn't shake the interaction. His roommate, Jamie, a straight ally who'd known Julian since college, noticed his distraction over dinner. "Spill it, man. You look like you just met someone." Julian hesitated, then confessed the odd spark with his doctor. Jamie laughed it off at first, but grew serious. "Dude, that's a red flag. Doctors can't date patients. It's like illegal or something." Julian waved it away, insisting it was nothing, but deep down, he wondered if the attraction was mutual. Meanwhile, Ethan returned home to his sleek loft in the Loop, pouring a glass of wine and staring at the city lights. His ex-wife, Sarah, had left because he'd finally admitted his truth. He was gay. The divorce had been amicable, but it left him questioning every connection. Julian's file sat on his desk. He'd pulled it up on his secure system, telling himself it was for thoroughness. But rereading the personal notes, he felt a pang of guilt. "This is dangerous," he muttered, closing the laptop. The next week, Julian's symptoms worsened during a high-pressure client meeting. He called the clinic, and Ethan squeezed him in after hours. The office was quiet, the staff gone. "Breathe deep again," Ethan said, his hand on Julian's back this time, guiding the inhalation. The touch was clinical, but the air crackled with unspoken tension. Tests showed minor arrhythmia, likely stress-induced. Ethan prescribed beta blockers and lifestyle changes, but as they talked, boundaries blurred. Julian opened up about his father's death from a heart attack at 50, the fear it instilled. Ethan shared his own loss, his brother to addiction, how it drove him to medicine. Their eyes met longer than before, and Ethan pulled back abruptly. I shouldn't. We should keep this professional. Julian's heart sank, but he nodded. Driving home, he felt a mix of relief and disappointment. Was he reading too much into it? Or was there something real? Over the following months, appointments became routine, but the connection deepened. Ethan recommended therapy for Julian's anxiety, and Julian started journaling his feelings. One evening, after a clean bill of health, Julian lingered. Dr. Harper, Ethan, thanks for everything. You've been more than a doctor. Ethan smiled faintly. It's my job, Julian. But as Julian left, Ethan wrestled with his ethics. He consulted a colleague anonymously. Hypothetically, what if feelings develop? The answer was clear: terminate care, refer out. Yet, when Julian called about a panic attack, Ethan couldn't say no. They met at a neutral coffee shop off the record. Conversation flowed. Shared interests in indie films, hiking in the Appalachians. Julian admitted his crush. I know it's wrong, but Ethan cut him off gently. It's not just you. The admission hung heavy, sparking the first real conflict, the pull of desire versus duty. Julian's world tilted after that coffee shop confession. He threw himself into work, designing campaigns for a progressive ad firm, but thoughts of Ethan invaded his sketches. Subtle lines evoking a man's profile, hazel eyes. His family back in rural Illinois remained oblivious. His mother, a devout Catholic, often hinted at grandkids, while his brother dismissed city life as too liberal. Coming out fully to them seemed impossible, especially now with this complication. Ethan, meanwhile, faced his own turmoil. At a medical conference in New York, he networked with peers, but the ethics panel on patient relationships hit hard. Any romantic involvement is exploitation, the speaker declared. Ethan nodded along, but inwardly he debated. Was it exploitation if mutual? Back in Chicago, he referred Julian to another cardiologist, citing a scheduling conflict. The email was curt, professional. Receiving it, Julian felt rejected. He confronted Ethan at the clinic, waiting in the lobby. Why? After what you said. Ethan pulled him into an empty room. Because it's unethical. I could lose my license, my reputation. Julian argued. But we're adults. Feelings don't follow rules. The exchange escalated, voices raised, Julian accusing Ethan of cowardice. Ethan defending his career built from nothing, as a first-generation college grad from a working-class family. The argument ended in stalemate, but it ignited something. They agreed to no contact for a month, to think. During that time, Julian explored Chicago's gay scene, attending a support group where stories of hidden lives resonated. One man shared losing his job after coming out. Another, family rejection. It mirrored Julian's fears, amplifying the societal pressures. Ethan sought counsel from his therapist, a no-nonsense woman who'd helped him post-divorce. Love isn't convenient, but ethics are non-negotiable, she said. Yet, Ethan dreamed of Julian, innocent moments like sharing a laugh. He volunteered at an LGBTQ+ health clinic, seeing the discrimination patients faced. Denied care, judgmental staff. It fueled his internal conflict. Hiding his identity felt like complicity. The month ended with Julian's new doctor confirming his health improvements. Emboldened, Julian texted Ethan, "Can we talk?" They met at a park on Lake Michigan, the wind whipping waves. "I've missed you," Julian admitted. Ethan confessed the same, but warned, "This could ruin us." They decided to proceed cautiously, no dates, just friendship. But walks turned intimate, hands brushing, conversations delving into past heartbreaks. Society's gaze intruded soon. At an art gallery opening Julian invited Ethan to, a colleague spotted them. Whispers followed. "Is that Dr. Harper with a patient?" Ethan panicked, excusing himself early. The next day, his boss called him in. "Rumors are circulating. Be careful." Ethan denied romance, but the seed of doubt was planted. Julian faced his own backlash. Jamie, his roommate, confronted him. "This is messed up. What if he misdiagnoses you because of feelings?" Julian defended, "It's not like that." But doubt crept in. When Julian's mother visited, she sensed his distraction. Are you seeing someone? She probed. Julian lied. Just busy. Her traditional views, marriage as man-woman, loomed like a barrier. As their bond strengthened, so did the conflicts. A double date with friends turned awkward when Ethan's ex-colleague grilled him about his friend. Julian felt like a secret, igniting an argument. Am I just your hidden fling? Ethan retorted. You don't understand the stakes. My career, my life. The fight highlighted class differences. Julian from a modest background, Ethan from poverty, clawing his way up. Reconciliation came during a storm, literal and metaphorical. Julian had a minor relapse, calling Ethan in panic. Ethan rushed over, boundaries forgotten. Holding Julian through the anxiety, Ethan whispered, I can't stay away. They kissed for the first time, a tentative, emotional connection born of vulnerability. But morning brought regret. We have to stop, Ethan said. Yet they didn't. Secret meetings ensued, each laced with guilt. Julian pushed for more openness. Ethan resisted. The tension built, societal norms clashing with personal desires. At a pride event Julian attended alone, he met others in similar situations, professionals hiding relationships. It emboldened him to confront his family. Telling his brother first, I'm gay, and I'm seeing someone. The response was harsh. That's disgusting. Mom will disown you. The rejection stung, amplifying the drama. Ethan, hearing this, felt responsible. I shouldn't have pulled you into this. The high point came at a hospital fundraiser. Ethan, as MC, spotted Julian in the crowd. Their eyes met, a silent promise. But post-event, a board member approached. We value integrity here. Any impropriety. The threat was veiled but clear. Julian and Ethan met that night, emotions raw. We have to choose, Julian said. Us or the world. Ethan wavered, the weight of his achievements versus love. The fundraiser's aftermath lingered like a shadow over Julian and Ethan. Ethan dove deeper into work, taking extra shifts to avoid thinking about the ultimatum. His colleagues noticed the strain, bags under his eyes, shorter temper. One, Dr. Ramirez, a mentor figure, pulled him aside. Whatever's eating you, sort it out. Patients need you at 100%. Ethan confided partially, personal issues. But the real issue was the growing file of complaints. Anonymous tips about his inappropriate conduct. Julian, meanwhile, channeled his turmoil into art. He designed a series of posters for an LGBTQ+ rights campaign, subtly incorporating themes of hidden love and societal chains. His firm praised the work, but it drew backlash online, trolls calling it propaganda. Julian's social media blew up with hate messages, echoing the disputes he'd heard in support groups. It made him question if pursuing Ethan was worth the exposure. Their next meeting was tense, at a quiet diner outside the city. Rumors at work, Ethan revealed. Julian's face fell. Because of me? Ethan shook his head, but the implication hung. They debated ethics again. Was their relationship predatory, given the power imbalance? Julian argued no. They'd met as doctor-patient, but grown beyond. Ethan countered with studies he'd read. Statistics show higher rates of exploitation in such dynamics. The conversation turned heated, voices low but intense, drawing stares from other patrons. Driving back, Julian called his mother, voice trembling. Mom, I need to tell you something. He came out, mentioning Ethan vaguely as someone special. Silence stretched, then tears. How could you? It's a sin. She hung up, leaving Julian devastated. He texted Ethan, family knows. It's bad. Ethan called immediately, offering comfort, but it deepened his guilt. I'm sorry I complicated your life. The conflicts escalated when Julian's brother showed up unannounced at his apartment. You're throwing away our family for this. Lifestyle. The argument turned physical. Shoves, shouts until Jamie intervened. Julian's brother left, vowing to tell extended family. The fallout isolated Julian. Cousins unfriended him on social media. Aunts sent praying emojis laced with judgment. Ethan faced professional scrutiny. An ethics review was initiated after a concerned tip. He lawyered up, but the process drained him. During a session with his therapist, he broke down. "I love him, but is love enough against all this?" The therapist challenged. "What are you willing to sacrifice?" Inspired, Ethan researched similar cases, doctors who'd navigated relationships post-treatment. He found precedents. Waiting periods, full disclosure. He proposed to Julian. "I'll step back from practice if needed, refer you out completely." Julian was touched but hesitant. "Don't ruin your career for me." Society's pressures mounted. At a community event, Julian spoke on a panel about LGBTQ+ health disparities. He shared anonymized stories, but a heckler shouted, "Keep your perversions out of medicine." The incident went viral, linking back to Ethan through mutual friends. Ethan's hospital received complaints, demanding his resignation. The couple's bond strained under the weight. A weekend getaway to a cabin in Wisconsin offered respite, hiking, cooking, talking dreams. Ethan envisioned a life together, Julian a family someday. But reality intruded. Ethan's phone buzzed with work emails, Julian's with family pleas to repent. Returning, crisis hit. Ethan's review board summoned him. Evidence, texts, sightings. He defended, "No active patient, feelings mutual." But the board was skeptical, citing power dynamics. Suspension loomed. Julian, supporting him, faced his own job threat, clients pulling out over his controversial activism. "Is this what love costs?" he asked Ethan tearfully. In a pivotal moment, they attended a protest for marriage equality. Amid chants, Ethan took Julian's hand publicly. Flashes from phones captured it. The next day, headlines, "Chicago Doc in Gay Scandal." Support poured in from allies, but backlash from conservatives was fierce. Petitions, boycotts. Ethan's suspension was confirmed. 3 months, pending appeal. He felt broken, questioning if he'd exploited Julian's vulnerability during illness. Julian reassured, "You saved me in more ways." As tensions peaked, Julian's health faltered. A stress-induced episode landed him in ER. Ethan, barred from treating, waited anxiously. The scare united them. "We fight this together." But divisions deepened. Ethan's parents, whom he'd come out to years ago, supported but worried. Julian's family rift widened. His mother refused contact. The drama culminated in Ethan's appeal hearing. Testimonies. Colleagues vouching for his character. Experts on ethics. Julian spoke. "Our story isn't abuse. It's human." The board deliberated. The appeal hearing dragged on. A sterile room filled with suited officials scrutinizing every detail of Ethan and Julian's relationship. Ethan sat rigidly, his lawyer arguing precedents of consensual post-treatment romances. Julian, in the audience, gripped the bench, his mind racing through the what-ifs. If Ethan lost, his career, built from scholarships and sleepless nights, could crumble. The thought twisted Julian's gut. He'd never wanted to be the cause of such destruction. The verdict came, probation, not suspension. Ethan could practice under supervision with mandatory ethics training. Relief washed over them, but it was bittersweet. "We dodged a bullet," Ethan said later, hugging Julian in the courthouse hallway. Yet, the publicity had outed them fully. Ethan's conservative patients requested transfers. Julian's firm lost a major account. Society's judgment wasn't just abstract. It hit their wallets, their security. Rebuilding began slowly. Ethan attended workshops on LGBTQ+ advocacy, channeling his experience into policy change. He proposed reforms, clearer guidelines for relationships, anti-discrimination training. Julian amplified this through his designs, creating visuals for campaigns that highlighted stories like theirs. Their bond strengthened, but scars remained. Trust issues from secrets, resentment toward systems that forced hiding. Family reconciliations were uneven. Ethan's parents hosted a dinner, welcoming Julian warmly. "You're good for him," his mother said, easing some tension. Julian's side was harder. His brother apologized half-heartedly via text. "Didn't mean to hurt you." But his mother remained distant, sending occasional Bible verses. Julian grieved the loss, therapy helping him process the rejection common in many gay narratives. Social conflicts persisted. At a medical gala, whispers followed them. The scandal doc. Ethan held his head high, but inside, doubt festered. Did I take advantage? He confided to Julian one night, staring at the ceiling. Julian turned to him. No, we chose each other. Their conversations delved deeper into power dynamics, consent in professional settings. It sparked debates. Was their age gap, for years, an issue? Ethan's authority? A turning point came when a young patient confided in Ethan about his sexuality, fearing judgment. Ethan shared a sanitized version of his story. It's okay to be you, but navigate wisely. The boy left empowered, reminding Ethan why he fought. Julian faced his own growth. Joining a mentorship program for queer youth, he shared experiences of coming out amid health scares. One mentee's story mirrored his family pressure, internal shame. It fueled Julian's resolve, but also highlighted ongoing disputes. Schools banning LGBTQ+ discussions, laws restricting rights. Their relationship evolved into something public yet private. A quiet commitment ceremony with close friends, no legal marriage yet, but a promise. Jamie officiated, joking. From doctor-patient to this, only you two. Laughter eased the drama, but reality loomed. High drama resurfaced when an op-ed in a local paper criticized Ethan's unprofessionalism, calling for license revocation. Supporters rallied online, a petition gaining thousands. Counterpetitions emerged from anti-LGBTQ+ groups, labeling their story grooming. The term stung Julian, evoking painful stereotypes. They responded with an interview on a progressive podcast. Our love isn't a threat, Ethan stated. Julian added, society needs to evolve. The exposure brought allies, donations to their causes, but also threats. They installed security, a stark reminder of vulnerability. As months passed, stability returned. Ethan's probation ended. Julian's career rebounded with niche clients valuing his authenticity. They moved in together, a cozy apartment overlooking the lake, symbolizing fresh starts. Yet, undercurrents of conflict remained. During holidays, Julian's family absence hurt. Ethan's work demands strained time together. They argued about future kids, adoption amid biases, surrogacy ethics. In quieter moments, they reflected on choices. Would you change anything? Julian asked. Ethan smiled. Only to meet you sooner ethically. The story's climax built to a community forum on healthcare ethics. Ethan spoke, Julian by his side. Questions flew. Is romance ever okay post-treatment? Debates raged, some supportive, others condemnatory. It encapsulated their journey. Love versus norms, personal versus societal. In the end, they stood firm, their relationship a testament to resilience. But questions lingered, sparking endless discussions. Life settled into a rhythm for Julian and Ethan, but the echoes of their struggles shaped every decision. Ethan advanced in his field, publishing a paper on ethical dilemmas in LGBTQ+ care, drawing from personal experience without specifics. It garnered acclaim, but critics accused bias. Julian's art flourished. A gallery show featured pieces inspired by their story. Abstract hearts entangled in red tape, symbolizing bureaucratic love barriers. Reviews praised the emotional depth, though some called it preachy. Social integration brought new conflicts. Joining a couples group for gay professionals, they heard similar tales. Lawyers hiding partners, teachers facing parent backlash. One couple's adoption denial due to lifestyle sparked outrage. Ethan advocated legally, testifying in court. Julian designed protest graphics, their teamwork a quiet rebellion. Family dynamics shifted glacially. Julian's mother reached out after a health scare of her own, breast cancer diagnosis. I need my son, she said tearfully over the phone. Julian visited, Ethan in tow. The meeting was awkward. Polite chit-chat, avoided topics. But when Ethan explained her treatment options empathetically, her walls cracked. He's good for you, she admitted privately to Julian. It wasn't full acceptance, but a start. His brother remained distant, though holiday cards arrived neutrally. Professional vindication came for Ethan when the hospital promoted him to department head. "Your integrity shone through," his boss said, but the role amplified scrutiny, budget cuts affecting queer health programs, forcing tough choices. Ethan fought for funding, clashing with board members prioritizing traditional care. Julian encountered his own crossroads. A job offer in New York tempted him, higher pay, bigger platform. "It could be our fresh start," he suggested. Ethan hesitated. "My life's here. Patience. Roots." The debate highlighted sacrifices. Julian had uprooted emotionally. Now Ethan faced literal relocation. They compromised on long-distance trials, but it strained intimacy. Amid this, a national debate erupted over healthcare ethics bills, proposing stricter patient-doctor boundaries. Their story was cited anonymously in arguments. Pro: protecting vulnerables. Con: stifling human connections. Ethan lobbied in D.C., Julian creating viral infographics. The bill passed watered down, a partial win. Personal growth deepened. Therapy sessions evolved from crisis to maintenance, exploring internalized homophobia. "Society conditions us to doubt our worth," their counselor noted. It resonated, helping them navigate microaggressions, like stares in public or colleagues' offhand jokes. Pivotal event was Pride Month. They marched together, banners high. Media spotlighted them. From scandal to symbol, interviews delved into controversies. Power imbalances, societal double standards for gay couples. Straight doctors date nurses. Why the hypocrisy? Julian challenged. Ethan added, consent and equality matter most. Backlash followed, online harassment, doxing attempts. They fortified privacy, but it isolated them. Friends rallied, hosting support dinners. Jamie quipped, "You two are drama magnets." Laughter healed, reinforcing chosen family. As years blurred, they considered marriage. A quiet ceremony in a garden, vows exchanged. Through conflicts and choices, "I choose you." Families attended unevenly, Ethan's fully, Julian's partially. His mother's presence, tearful hug, marked progress. Yet happiness wasn't unchallenged. Ethan's aging parents needed care, straining time. Julian's career demands led to burnout. They argued about priorities. Your work or us? Resolutions came through compromise, Ethan reducing hours, Julian delegating. The narrative's resolution crystallized in mentorship. They co-founded a support network for LGBTQ+ professionals in taboo relationships. Stories poured in, teachers with former students, bosses with employees. Guiding others healed their wounds, turning pain into purpose. Reflecting on their journey, from that first exam room touch to public advocacy, they marveled at the growth. Conflicts had forged them, choices defined them. Society evolved slowly, but their love endured. In the quiet of their home, Julian turned to Ethan. Was it all worth it? Ethan smiled. Every breath. But one question remains. Is it ethically justifiable for a medical professional to pursue a romantic relationship with a former patient, even if mutual consent exists?